I think identity crisis is like a part of the brain, you know, like medulla oblongata, cerebral cortex, identity crisis. As a kid, I always knew that I was going to be an artist. I knew everything was about art. Everything I thought about and did was art or music. At school, every level of school that I was in, every school I went to, and we moved a lot, I did the school bulletin boards, the school plays, I did the sets, the scenery, I did the dances, the posters. I was a really good artist. In fact, I was also a musical. I played guitar by the time I was 4. I was in a band at 8, a rock band, 8 years old, and I was painting motorcycles for the Hells Angels at 14. So I was legit. But in spite of that, the girls that every boy wanted were beautiful, athletic, sports girls. I wasn't beautiful. I wasn't athletic. I mean, I had my insides torn out every time I got on a softball field. I was useless. But I wasn't Patrice Coleman. I wasn't Lori Kraft. I wasn't blonde. I wasn't Catholic. But in spite of being a really good artist, I longed to belong to the cheerleading squad, to be on the athletic roster, to rep the school in the glass trophy case outside the principal's office. Glass trophies, the trophies, yeah. So I began to go to some pretty extreme lengths, creative ideas to be that person, to be that athletic girl that I wasn't. So in order to attract the young tennis player in high school, at junior high, there's a young tennis player I wanted to meet. I decided to make a fake set of punch cards that I sent away to at an online on a computer dating service. You know, in those days there were no actual online dating service, but the early one was a computer dating service there in the back of the TV guide, where you would send away and it was create this perfect match. Well, my mother worked for probably the very first data processing lab for Bell Telephone, and I just went into her wastebasket and I pulled out these cards. And so I used a little typewriter at her office, those little funky typewriters that made those little square letters, and you know, and I made this set of punch cards that said that Mark, Medea, and I were a perfect match. Well, he wasn't impressed because I wasn't a tennis player. I didn't have that sports thing. It wasn't me. You could say that I got this ability to adapt to different things from my father. Piece of work. My father and mother were both Marines, but when the Korean War was not recognized with a war memorial, my father lost it. He left the service. He got an Afro haircut. He started roaming the streets of Harlem and the Bronx, pretending to be all kinds of different people, even black people. And one time he got into a tiff on the subway car. There was this very outspoken black nationalist. It was huge. And my father went up to him and said, "I'm a black belt in karate." This is how my father would have done that. He would have gone in the guy's face. Like, that was my father. Because he believed who he said he was. He believed everything he said that he was. We came home with a black eye that night because the guy just shoved him across the subway car. But that wasn't the end of him. That wasn't enough to stop him. He upped the ante. And the next day he went out looking for this man on the subway car telling everybody, "I'm a gold belt in karate," whatever that is. I'm a gold belt. He believed it. So it wasn't a big leap for me to start inventing personalities because I too could assimilate them very well. So I decided to tell the tennis player that I'm a competitive level tennis player, just like that. Well, the only reason you don't see me at school playing is because I practice on the competitive level court in Forest Hills Stadium. But I believed it. It never occurred to me to actually train to do something like that. So when I was an artist, I could create anything. So, he and his friend challenged me to a match. And I tried avoiding this for a couple of weeks, and meanwhile I'd get on the subway and I would go up to the handball courts in Harlem, and I started practicing. That was terrible. But meanwhile, I would still talk about my great backhand, and 40 love. I had got one of those books, I got the cash register, those little Dell pocket books, tennis terms, like next to like astrology and horoscopes. 40 love. So the day was coming close, and I just had no idea what to do. I couldn't get away from it. But I believed I was that tennis player. So on the day of the match, I showed up at the high school in complete tennis whites. I was all dressed. I had a plaster cast around my arm. I took one of those plaster Paris rolls that you get in an artist sculpture kit, those little kits. I completely wrapped my arm in it. And what's even better, I had made a doctor's note from an insurance bill from Blue Cross Blue Shield. I cut the top off, and I just made this hospital stationary. What's even worse was I had to wear the cast for 6 weeks to be convincing. By that time I moved back to New York and I started high school. This time I had my heart set on a senior who had no interest in art or music. He had a Triumph motorcycle and a GTO. And all he wanted to do, all he was concerned about was fast cars and fast machines. He raced motorcycles, hot rods, speedboats in the summertime, and snowmobiles in the winter. So I just said, hey, I'll be a snowmobile champion. So I started writing to all these snowmobile companies. And I would write them and I'd say, can I have that patch for your brand? I want to sew it on my parka. So they sent me patches. I didn't just write to one company. I had Arctic Cat, Ski-Doo, Polaris, John Deere, and I had Castro, DT, Purolator, red checker flags, and my whole jacket was covered with patches. Great. Just chill. But I went one step further. In the back of the TV guide were those companies that make trophies. Beautiful gold plating, anodized with your name on it. So I thought I'm going to order some snowmobile trophies. I had some money saved up. I had money saved for art supplies, Beatles records, Rolling Stones records, guitar strings, and a Mark Eden bus developer. Who knows what that is? Show of hands. Show of hands. Mark Eden bus developer. One of the identity crises of every girl in high school is that if you're flat-chested, Mark Eden had the device that would add 2 cup sizes and 3 inches to your bra size. Well, I took all that money and I just bought the trophies instead. So I ordered snowmobile champion, first place, snowmobile run, champ, first place run, snowmobile jump, first place, stunts, first place, with my name on every one. This impressed the hell out of my love interest, Bob Wiggles, who invited me to come stay at his parents' house for a weekend up in Ellenville, New York, which was a snowmobiler's paradise. There were fields and fields where they had private airports for crop duster planes. They were just covered with snow. Snowmobiler's paradise. Well, I had to agree to go. I mean, Dream Boy was offering me a stay-in weekend, so I'll figure it out when I get there. Well, the morning came when we were going to leave, and there was a blizzard, crazy blizzard, couldn't hardly see. When we got there 3 hours later, even the little cabin was covered in snow. We had to just bury to get to where the snowmobiles are, just burrow through it. When I saw the snowmobiles, I said, oh, I just got my arm out of a cast. Do you think you could show me the tension on the throttle? Because it's been a while. The truth was, I'd never ridden one. Never. And everybody was all excited, Here comes this snowmobile champion. I had my black and purple Arctic Cat jumpsuit, that I ordered, and I got it for free by showing them pictures of the fake trophies. I believed her. I said I was. And then the morning came. Next morning, I could straddle that seat, and I got on that snowmobile. I turned the key, and I hit the throttle. And blizzard was still raging. The blizzard was still going. I was like, there was no visibility. I couldn't see anything in front of me, nothing. I'm going in the snow. All I could see was behind me. There was like little trees and the headlights of the other snowmobiles. I was so far ahead because the throttle was frozen open, just frozen. I couldn't even stop if I even knew where the brake was. So I'm gone. I couldn't see anything. And like all of a sudden, I feel my scarf and my braids are flying up in the air. I was in flight. I hit a jump, unbeknownst to me, because I couldn't see anything. I was hitting the jump, and the cleats and the tracks of the snowmobiles didn't have anything to grip. They were like, I'm flying. Boom! Snow drifts everywhere. I crashed. The machine's on its side, whirring away, and I was buried under the snow a little bit. I'm trying to unbury myself. If it wasn't for the snowdrifts, I would have broken every bone in my body. Well, Bob and his old man just came roaring up alongside and jumped off their machines. They turned the key, turned it off. He pulled the wreck off of me. I mean, it was total. I was okay. I was a little shaky, yeah. Plus, I got a chance to sit behind Bob, put my arms around him for the very first time, and ride back to the cabin on his snowmobile. So that was good. Well, the next morning, I was a little shattered and a little bruised, but he liked me. He was impressed. We actually stayed together for the winter, and in the thaw, we decided to go back up there and go target shooting. This time I didn't make any trophies for my marksmanship. I just let him put his arms around my back and show me how to aim the rifle. So I said, you think we could go back to that area where that jump was? I lost my purple and black Arctic cat hat and scarf, and I wanted to go get that, so yeah. When we got there, we didn't see the hat and scarf at first. But I looked up, and I saw this cliff. It was like a cliff. Evel Knievel would not have taken a motorcycle over that cliff. It was huge. And then we saw the hat and scarf. They were dangling from a barbed wire. It was 20 feet up in the air. That's how high the snowdrift was. The little treetops that I saw were the tops of 20-foot trees. The snow was so deep. Yeah, another 6 inches. I'd have been decapitated by barbed wire. But what happened was that crash emboldened me. The identity crisis just shook right out of my body. And all of a sudden I felt like sports girl. I could do anything. I could ride a motorcycle. I could go helicopter skiing in the Banshees and the Monashees and jump out of a helicopter and ski. And I did. And I do. Still ride a motorcycle today. I haven't skied in a while, but I did. I went all those places. And I got a backpack and I got a Brit Rail pass and more. I went over the whole continent, continents alone, completely alone, being myself. I didn't have to fake another ID, fake another trophy, to be me. What I realized, somewhere between the 20th and the 21st century, was my life, your life, there's no judge or juror. To thine own self, be true. What you think of me is none of my business. I'm just a backpack.